In this video, we'll show you how to prepare a seamless pattern for professional printing, from checking the repeat to exporting the right file for production. A pattern might look perfect on your screen, but there are a few important details to check before turning it into a real product. Your repeat needs to be seamless, your resolution needs to match the final print size, and your file format needs to work with the printing method you're using. Getting these details right from the start can help you avoid common production problems and make the process much smoother. So let's walk through the 4 steps to get your pattern print ready. Let's get started. Step 1. Generate and check your pattern's seamlessness. Every production-ready pattern starts with one requirement. It needs to repeat seamlessly. If you're starting from scratch, you can generate a seamless pattern directly using Patterned AI's pattern generator. The generator creates tileable designs in a wide range of styles, giving you a pattern that's already built to repeat correctly. But what if you already have artwork? If you have a fabric photo, vintage swatch, sketch, or reference image that you want to turn into a seamless pattern, use Create from Image. Create from Image analyzes the image and generates a brand new seamless pattern inspired by it. The AI recreates the design while preserving the overall style, colors, and feel of the original. But if your pattern already exists and just doesn't repeat cleanly, you'll want to use Fix Seams instead. A single image isn't automatically a seamless pattern. The edges need to connect perfectly in every direction. Otherwise, visible seams will appear when the design is repeated across fabric, wallpaper, or other products. The Fix Seams tool keeps the center of your artwork intact and intelligently rebuilds only the edges, creating a perfectly tileable repeat without changing the core design. So the rule is simple. If you're creating a seamless pattern from a photo, sketch, or reference image, use Create from Image. If your pattern already exists but needs seamless edges, use Fix Seams. Once you've generated or fixed your pattern, the next step is to make sure the repeat actually works. Because before you worry about resolution, file formats, or printing methods, you need a pattern that can repeat flawlessly. Everything else depends on that foundation. Step 2. Check the repeat. Before you invest time in upscaling or vectorizing, make sure your pattern actually tiles correctly. The Seamless Pattern Checker displays your pattern repeated at multiple zoom levels, making seams, mismatched edges, and alignment issues immediately obvious. It works with patterns from any source, not just those created on Patterned AI. Think of it as a quick quality control step before moving on to production. A few seconds spent checking your repeat now can save you from costly mistakes later. Step 3. Resolution is probably your biggest problem. One of the most important steps in preparing a pattern for print is making sure it has the right resolution. Most people have heard the phrase 300 dpi, and somewhere along the way, they were told that 300 dpi equals print ready. But that's only part of the story because dpi by itself doesn't mean anything. What actually matters is how many pixels you have for the size you want to print. Here's an example. A pattern tile that's 1024 by 1024 pixels sounds reasonably large, but at 300 dpi, that only prints at about 8.7 centimeters. That's a pretty small repeat. Now imagine you want a repeat that's 30 centimeters wide. Suddenly that same tile isn't nearly large enough. For a 30 centimeter repeat, you'll need around 3,500 pixels on each side. And for larger repeats, you'll need even more. This is why so many patterns look sharp on a screen but appear soft or blurry when printed. The repeat size determines how many pixels you actually need, not the DPI number alone. To solve this, you need to upscale the pattern. Patterned AI's pattern upscaler can enlarge a seamless design while preserving the repeat. Instead of simply stretching pixels like traditional resizing tools, it rebuilds detail and maintains seamless edges. That means you can take a smaller tile and prepare it for much larger production sizes without breaking the repeat. And for most production workflows, this is one of the most important steps in the entire process. Step 4. Choose the right export method. Once your pattern is seamless and high enough resolution, there's one final decision to make. How is the design actually going to be printed? Most workflows fall into either of 2 categories: digital printing or screen/rotary printing. Let's start with digital printing. For digital printing, you're typically working with a high-resolution raster image like PNG or TIFF files. The printer can reproduce gradients, textures, and large numbers of colors without much restriction. So the workflow is simple. Create the pattern, check the repeat, upscale if necessary, export as a high-resolution PNG. Done. But screen printing is different. Screen printing requires separate color layers. Every color essentially becomes its own production element. That's why printers often request vector files instead of raster images. In that case, you'll want to convert the pattern into a vector format. Using the Patterned AI Vectorize tool, You can generate production-ready vector files with separated color layers. You can then export as SVG, Adobe Illustrator files, or individual color separations. The key thing to remember is this: digital printing needs pixels. Screen printing needs vectors. Once you understand that distinction, choosing the correct workflow becomes much easier. Bonus: why your colors look different after export. Keep in mind that colors can shift between your design and the final print. This is often caused by differences in color profiles, such as RGB and CMYK. Always check your printer's requirements and review a proof before production. A quick color check can save you from unexpected results later. Preparing a pattern for production doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, it really comes down to 4 steps. 1. Make sure the pattern is seamless. 2. Check the repeat. 3. Get enough resolution for your intended print size. 4. And export the correct file type for your printing method. That's it. Do those 4 things consistently, and you'll avoid the majority of issues that cause delays, rejected files, and disappointing print results. Because creating a great pattern is important, but making sure it prints beautifully is what turns a design into a real product. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.